Well, COVID vaccines are now available in the U.S. to anybody age 16 and older who wants one. So here to answer your questions, Dr. Brian Hollenbeck, Chief of Infectious Diseases at New England Baptist Hospital. Dr. Hollenbeck, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right, so most of the people in this last group we know are younger, they're healthier, they did not have any of those comorbidities, the health conditions that qualified them earlier. So what does the data tell you about their risk of actually becoming infected with COVID right now?
Well, right now, this is the main group that's getting COVID. The older people have been vaccinated. 80% or so of people over 65 are vaccinated. And right now, we know that the B.1.1.7 strain is the predominant strain in Massachusetts and in the country. So that's a more contagious strain, and we're seeing that play out in the younger, unvaccinated group right now.
Let's talk about the vaccines themselves. We know that right now Pfizer is the only one that's authorized for kids ages 16 and 17. Are they more likely to experience side effects than their parents, and how long do the most common side effects last in younger people?
Yeah, so in younger people in general, in the study they break it down by above and under 55. And I would say in practice we've seen that younger people do see more side effects. So most people can expect, a majority of people can expect a sore arm and a little bit of fatigue for a day or two. And a small minority, maybe 10% to up to 25%, especially after the second dose, we'll see ongoing fatigue and actually even shaking chills, low-grade fevers that can last for a day or two. For almost everybody, the vaccine side effects are over after about 48 hours.
Is it safe for kids with allergies to get vaccinated?
It is. As long as the allergy is not a component of the vaccine itself, then it's safe to get the vaccine if you have multiple allergies. And if you're concerned about it, you can be monitored for a longer period of time at your vaccine site.
All right, so we continue to hear from people who would prefer to wait and see about these vaccines. Maybe they're concerned that there might be long-term side effects that researchers just don't know about yet. What's your message to those folks?
Yeah, I would say it's true that the vaccines haven't been on the market for even a whole year. But at this point, there's 260 million people that have received these vaccines, which is far more than most drugs that we administer. It's far more than most cholesterol medicines or even diabetes medicines. So we have a lot of experience giving these drugs to people at this point. And I would also say the mRNA component really doesn't last very long in the human body. The half-life is 8 to 10 hours. So by 2 days in, really most of the vaccine itself is gone out of the body.
All right, Dr. Brian Hollenbeck, Chief of Infectious Diseases at New England Baptist. Dr. Hollenbeck, thanks for your time today.
Thank you for having me.